Alright, in this video, I'm going to be making a longbow with some recurved limbs, and I hope to shoot a deer with it within the next year or so. But here's one of, it's not quite finished, it's in the process of finishing. But I'll start taking off the bark, and then the sapwood. All this, like, it's a whiter color, and I'll show you on the camera. It's a whiter color. You want to get down to where it's orange. You get dark orange and you get real light orange. And what we're going to want to do is get down to where you have one dark orange strip along the whole back side of the bow. This top side here. And if you do go through the growth ring that you picked, there's plenty of wood on this one. There's only room to mess up a few times. But if you think you ruined it because you went through that growth ring, just go back to the beginning, start completely over, find the next growth ring, and go on with that growth ring. Don't try to patch something that you went through. Just go on to the next one and keep trying. As you can see, you just eat through that layer. The darker orange layer is going to be a lot harder. It's a little bit easier to actually carve. It feels smoother to carve, but I don't know, you might be able to hear this, but the lighter color orange, is a lot crunch. It's almost crunchy. It's like a hard foam, is what it sounds like. So here, I'm gonna eat into this orange right here. Kind of rolls. It's smooth. But now once I get through there, it gets crunchy. You can hear it there. You can see this line right there. That's reset in a little bit. I'm gonna see if I can't use the edge here. Just scrape it. This scrapes off pretty easily. Yeah, it's getting eaten away there. That's pretty good. I'll take a little bit of sandpaper. Hit this with the sandpaper. Kind of clean up some of them spots where it left a little bit. And you can see exactly where I'm right there. So this is the growth ring I'm going to follow. At the end of this should look just like this all the way down the length of the stave. One thing you don't want to do, and this is something I tried when I was younger, starting to try these, is come from this angle and peel it back. What you're going to end up doing is you're going to pull fibers out of this back part here. This should be smooth as can be, and it's hard as a rock. And you just take 2 or 3 inches at a time, and you eat away. And whenever you hit this lighter color orange, you just slow down a little bit. So right there, the only thing between me and the back of the bow right now, this draw knife and the back of the bow, is that lighter colored orange stuff. And that stuff, it's not super durable, so don't go digging at it real hard once you get that last layer. Alright, so the reason there's no sound right now is because my microphone on the camera completely ran out of battery at this point. So I'm just going to kind of explain what I'm doing here, and shortly here I'll have the camera battery switched out. So as I was working my way down the stave, I ended up getting in a little bit of a hurry, and right on the edge of the stave I cut into the growth ring a little bit. But as you can see, it's right along the edge, and it's towards the end of the limb. So where the limb tapers to a more narrow point, that's right where I cut through the growth ring. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mark it, and whenever I start tapering the limbs, I just have to make sure that I taper them enough to take this part out. So I made another mistake. As you can see right there in the center, I cut through the growth ring. There was a high spot, and I should have been paying more attention. But I'm just going to take off the next growth ring, and that's going to be my new backing. Alright, here's something I like to do. If you're chasing a growth ring for multiple days, so like today, alright, in the layout portion here, use a pencil and have an eraser to erase it then. And then you can sand it down a little bit more if you want to. This bow is 68 inches long. I want a bow that's, if you make one longer, it's going to be more accurate. It's more steady. So right in the middle, I'm going to mark 34 inches as the center of the bow. And then I want a 6-inch handle section. So go up 3 inches, put a mark, down 3 inches. And then you want go ahead and mark out your fades. So I want some fairly shallow fades. So I'm going to go 2-inch fades. That gives me a 10-inch handle section. So there's going to be a 10-inch section right here in the middle that doesn't bend pretty much at all. You know what? I'm going to make this make it 12-inch section that doesn't bend at all. And I can change if you make it bigger. You can go ahead and trim it down later. But if you start really big, or if you start really small, you can't trim it down at all. So that's what we're looking at. This is your center line, put a cross in there. This is the end of your fade. So that's where the bend in your limb is going to begin. And this is where the handle section is. All right, now in laying this out, what I'm going to do here is tie this on. Now if I had like a chalk line or something with a clip on it, I'd probably use that. But I'm going to tie that on. And you want the knot underneath. I'm going to take it down to this end. And then I'm going to tie on a hammer in this case, but just a weight that can hang. This helps you get a better view of what what the bow's going to look like and how you can lay it out. I'm going to hang that there. So there, we have a tight line running down the length of the bow. Make sure it's not getting too close to the sides. It needs to be on the same side of the string at each point. Put it like right there, put a mark right there. So I'm going to go right here, this section of the limb. It is this middle section of the limb is as close as it is anywhere else to the edge of the bow. So I'm going to measure, that is 3/4 inch. So I can still take it in further than that. I'm going to mark 3/4 inch on the opposite side. And then down here at the end, I'm going to decide how wide to make the bow. And I think I'm going to go with a 1/2 inch to begin with. So 1/2 inch might sound small, but it might get smaller than that. I'm going to start with a 1/2 inch. Like I said, start big and then shrink it down from there. So what I'm going to do here, in order to not cut into anywhere I don't want to, I'm going to take a Sharpie this time, and I'm going to go, let's see, halfway up the fades. I'm just going to mark that along the side. And I'm going to use a tomahawk. You could definitely put this in the vice grip. I'm going to have some strips of carpet that I'm going to use to put it in the vise, and just start going at it with a draw knife. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to start out with a tomahawk and start removing wood that way. And I'm just doing that just to save a little bit of time. So I'm just eating away at it. You can really remove a lot of wood this way. Just got to be careful. If for any reason you nick the front, you got to go looking for another growth ring. So you don't want to do that. Alright, ready to go back to the draw knife. I'm gonna go nuts here. Just take off a bunch of meat, because this is way too thick. Pretty good already. That was a lot quicker. And that's a beast of a bow. If you wanted just a massive bow, this is it. This one definitely bends a lot better. So here's the deal. I'm gonna flatten this handle so that it sits on the tillering tree later better. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take a small hand plane and eat this down. I'm gonna make this pretty flat. This is something that can be done a little bit later when the limbs are bending better, but I got time to do it now, so I might as well do it now. So the reason I flatten that, I'll just show you real quick before I put it up for the night. This is my tillering tree, or tillering stick. it's gonna sit on there, and I'm going to put it about where my hand's gonna sit, and it needs to sit just like that. And it's a little off balance right now. This side's a little heavier. It'll sit just like that, and then I'll have a string on here, and I'll pull it down, and I got screws right here, and I'll pull the string down, put it on the screw, and see how it's bending in order to see where I need to remove more wood to get a nice even bend on each limb. So there, you can see the shelf cut in, or the shelf cutout is there, and my handle here starting to flex, and that's the first step. That's progress. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to feel to remove more wood. I'm going to just feel with my hand, and like right here on the end, that's definitely the thickest part by far. Right there's the thick part. That's a pretty thin part, so I'm going to go ahead and put line there. Where does it get thick again? It doesn't get thick until up here. So leave this part alone. I'm going to put an X there. So if you're getting close to done tillering, you don't want to put an X there. But this is still over a ½ inch thick. This is going to be a massively heavy limb. So I'm going to put an X there. I'm going to work these areas down before I touch this. And even up here, it's mainly on this side, so I'm going to emphasize one side versus the other. So like here, I'm going to put a line there, X. I'm going to go ahead and put in string grooves and throw a string on this and start pulling it just a little bit on the tillering tree and see if I can get any kind of bend out of this. I'm going to take a chainsaw file. Peel off some of this. So here I've got a just a jig with different radiuses on it. And then you'd be pulling it straight. Alright, I think it's cooled off enough. It's still, ooh, shoot. There's a couple fibers that raised up right here. Luckily, I think we can work with that and get rid of that because there's still a lot of tillering to do. So we'll just smooth those over. I don't know if you can see that, there's a few fibers. Luckily, this thing is still not even close to done. So that thing just does not want to focus, does it? I'm just gonna sand these down until they're gone. And then from there, just continue tillering until the bow is done. But before I even do that, I'm going to go ahead and bend the other limb. So time to do that. Alright, that one bent a lot better. I think there's a few fibers that are gonna pop up, but nothing a little sandpaper can't fix. So there we go. That's bent, and hopefully we can fix the little problems that pop up after bending that. Luckily, it's not tillered to being done. If it's a 50-pound bow and it's done and tillered and ready to go, that's a major problem. But it's not there yet, so luckily that shouldn't be too big of a problem. Alright, here's the first bend since recurving the limbs. Please don't break.
A lot of these big boats can't get. Those fish are coming to you, and that plays right into your hand, and they're going to be easier.
So this one, I don't want to take any more meat off of this one because it's flexing back every time I bend the bow.
So typically this time of the year, like I said, I'm fishing fast. I'm starting in the biggest.
I don't know, that tiller looks really good. I might just need to start removing wood evenly on both sides.
The water is less affected by winter.
I need to remove more wood off of this. As you can see, this one's kind of pointed up and this one's flat. These are going to be functional recurves.
You know, in springtime, especially early springtime, you get
Thin ones.
late winter.
I'm just going to remove wood the full length.
All winter long, that deeper water, but now as these move towards the flatter area of your pond, maybe your pond is a perfect surface. Maybe that's just shallow, so you can open around and fish something larger water where you have a dam, you have something that's in that pond, surface way towards the incoming water. Maybe find a line down that enough.
So this is the tillering process, going back and forth, trying to find the places where the bow is most stiff and removing wood there so you get a nice even bend between each limb. And this is a process that can take the longest out of all the bow making. So I just kind of sped through it. If you want to see it more in depth or have any questions, you can either put it down in the comments or ask for advice. There's lots of places to find it. So all that time I thought I was recording. I was literally talking to the camera, and what I did is I took a hacksaw and I drew a line, a curved line right here where the shelf is, and I hacked a line right there, hacked a line right there, and then I went back to the draw knife And I'm starting to peel this out. So now there's gonna be a peak right here in your shelf. And you wanna peak there so that the arrow isn't making contact with the whole shelf. The least amount of contact you can make with the shelf, the better. So not only that, as I'm using the draw knife here, I'm going to make this part of the shelf, this bow part here, your sight window is what it is. I'm gonna take it off, shave wood off the edges to make a hump there in the middle as well. And you want it to match up with the hump on the shelf. You can do this a bunch of different ways. You could use a rasp, you could use a chisel. I'm just decided to use a draw knife. I can get this cut deep enough here. There we go. I hate sanding. So the handle here is purely a preference thing. Whatever you prefer, whatever fits your hand best. I'm gonna make this fit to my hand. Nice deep groove in there. And I'm using the draw knife backwards and very lightly. Woo! I don't know if you saw where that went. It slapped the tar out of my hand. Right there, that's where it went. I'm gonna see if I can replicate that. I'm only gonna shoot one more time because that hurt bad. It gets moving quick too. It's not quite as fast as my other bow, but this is a nylon string, so change the string up, maybe correct brace height. This is a little off too. You might get a little bit better performance. Yeah, I mean it's only 10-15 yards, but that's pretty good. I like it. Alright, so down to final sanding. And I got the 220. And I'm gonna hit the belly of the bow, or the back of the bow here with the final growth ring. So I was being super careful not to touch it, not to scratch it, nothing on the back of the bow here. And now I'm gonna go ahead and sand it down with some 220 to make it look all smooth and nice. I didn't do that on camera. I do that. The arrow knocks. That's what they look like. Sorry, my hands look ugly. Look at the bow, not my hands. So after getting the bow all sanded down and all finished out and shooting nice, I decided to cut off a couple inches off of each end. It wasn't shooting as smooth as I would like. It was really heavy, big, and bulky, and I figured I could also bring my draw weight up if I would go ahead and chop a couple inches off. So I had to retiller it all out just to make sure everything was in line and smooth and bending correctly. When this was all said and done, I had a bow that was 65 inches long and 59.5 pounds at 28 inches. Now I'm hoping this is only the first part of this video, because I'm hoping to go out and kill a deer this fall with this bow. It ended up being 59 pounds at 28 inches, and just stay tuned for that video if I'm able to pull it off this year. I'm planning on having a few giveaways through that video, so keep an eye out for that, and thanks for watching. I got a probably 5-inch group, 6-inch group maybe.